Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. This is Bucket Ponds and my name is Terry. Today we have a channel update for March of 2023. I'm going to walk around the ponds a bit. I'm going to show you what's going on out here and we're going to have some fun. So this is my Subtropical Oasis here. It doesn't look like much at the moment. We're just now entering springtime. The flowers are starting to bloom and all the plants are coming back. Eventually, I might pull some of the weeds out of here, like that one there. But for now, we're just going to let things grow and enjoy what we have. You can see a few of our banana plants here. They haven't yet come back from the winter, but they should. We also had a few windstorms out here, which tore things up a bit. But this is the pool pond, and it's looking pretty good. All the taro plants are starting to sprout again. Things are growing and developing. We have a lot of duckweed, and we're waiting on the giant elephant ears to make their resurgence here pretty soon. Over there we have the 30-gallon pond we set up recently, and I'm very happy with that project as well. But here we have some Hoya Santa, I believe that's the name of this plant, and I found this growing in my neighborhood recently, a few months ago. But we've taken some samples and we've got them growing here. It's very easy to work with, and I look forward to growing more of that in the near future. We have another one right here. It's a pretty cool little plant. And I'm not too worried about Latin names, so forgive me if I get some of the identifications wrong. But over here we have the refrigerator pond, which unfortunately has had some issues. That liner that I used in there has broken down over the last year in the sunlight. So I've taken everything out of the fridge pond and put it over here into pool pond number 2. And I don't want to talk too much about this. I will have a video coming up about this project, but I just wanted to show you what's going on. We have some other new additions out here. Some more plants that I captured locally and brought home. And they're just now coming back from being transplanted last year in the cold weather. One of my favorite plants are the giant reeds. And this is actually the second spot that we have giant reeds started. Over here and over there by the swamp shack. Now again, if you're not familiar with the channel, you might not know what the swamp shack is. And that's basically my outbuilding. It's my little storage area. I keep some Ecospheres out there and some other things. But yeah, that's the swamp shack, and we have some plants growing nearby. That is the other spot that we have our giant reeds, and they're doing really well. They did pretty good out here last year. Giant reeds seem to work more or less based on root growth. So the little stems that I captured originally have grown and grown and grown to almost 20 foot tall at this point. I think that's really cool, and we're going to have even more growth this year. I look forward to using these giant reeds as sort of like a barrier around my oasis. And yeah, kind of like a natural fence if I can get them to grow that way. But we might also use the poles, the bamboo stalk type elements of the giant reeds in crafting to make little sticks, tripods, fence posts, things like that. Maybe even a fishing pole if they'll work for that. Over here we have one of our very first bucket ponds made out of an old tote, and it's been out here a couple years now. This tote is bowing pretty bad on the sides, but it's still going, it's still working, and it's pretty strong, so I'm just going to let it stay. That water lettuce there is the same water lettuce that we captured like 2 years ago, and it's still growing. But here, this particular giant reed plant, I have high hopes for that one there. It's going to get really big. And this is the mini ditch pond. You might hear me talk about this sometimes. This is where we saw that snake that everybody loves so much. And I haven't seen him lately, but he was right down in there. We have some duckweed and some other things growing in the mini ditch pond. And that's just the old ditch I dug out. I put a little liner down there to hold water. And yeah, just to see what would happen. There's some of the Virginia or Ohio Spiderwort flowering. There we go. Yeah, I love this plant. It's very easy to work with. You can literally just dig up a chunk and just throw it somewhere and it'll start growing. And there's an old bucket pond that we don't really talk about, as well as my big container here, which is actually a fruit bin for picking fruit. It's been cut in half, and now I use it as sort of a big planter. But we have some of our older bucket ponds in there, and those are very interesting projects. They have a a few unique species that have only appeared in those little bucket ponds. Here we have some dragon's head lilies, which haven't flowered yet, but they will soon. And it's a really beautiful flower when they do come out. I don't know if I had shown you before, but I have a little pathway that I put out here with some paving stones. And these stones are actually covered in moss, the very same moss that we use in our projects. And it grows really, really slow on the stones, but I enjoy it. And I want to have more of this moss. I want to use it in more ecospheres since it has worked so well, especially in the sealed polydarium and several other projects. And here we have our irrigation system with the hose essentially hidden in this rain tree. But I have a sprinkler that's directed over at the giant reeds there, and those red flowers are from the intro behind the swamp shack. But this sprinkler, I used to use a few of these and some other types of elements to water my ponds and water my plants. But I've switched it up a bit, and I've started using these little water hose splitters here. Just turn that sprinkler off. These little splitters are $1 at the dollar store, and they are great. I use these to create a sort of rain effect on the ponds, and it's going to squirt me here. There we go. But yeah, for these little dollar pieces, you can attach a couple of them together, and this makes a nice water rain effect on the ponds. It also waters the plants around them, and I think it's really cool. I mean, it looks a little funny, you know, but for $3, it's not bad. And I've just hidden the water hose in this tree here, and it's actually a rain tree, a mimosa tree. So the name is fitting, you know. And you might be asking, why would you water a pond? Well, these ponds, they don't have any pumps or filters or anything like that. So when I make like a simulated rain effect out here, it sort of aerates the water. It agitates the duckweed, causing it to split and to reproduce. It also adds oxygen to the water. And when you have like a rain shower on a pond like this, it also causes all these small particles suspended in the water to fall. Our lily pads are doing really well this year, and I'm very happy about that. I look forward to propagating them and spreading them into some other projects soon. But everything that you see here was captured from the wild in various locations. In my previous line of work, I used to maintain a bit of landscaping and do some old home repairs and things like that. But I would find abandoned gardens from like the 70s and the 80s and things that people had forgotten, such as those dragon's head lilies and other plants. And occasionally I would bring a sample home. And that's where we got like our water taro. This came from an old ditch in a city. A pretty well-developed area actually had a ton of these taro plants growing in some drainage ditches. So we took some of them home. The lily pads came from an old forgotten pond nearby. The same with my duckweed and the water lettuce. The water lettuce actually came from the middle of a nice little town. But yeah, everything that you see here has been captured locally. It's been brought home, reproduced, and it's doing really well, you guys. And there's another look at the 33-gallon pond. It is not forgotten. I also have the rain showers over here working on this pond. And there are fish in here. I do maintain a sizable population of mosquito fish and some other minnows. And yeah, I keep them mostly for their ability to eat insect larvae. We have no mosquitoes coming out of these projects. Guarantee it. My mosquito fish are really good about maintaining natural pest control. But back over here, we have some other projects and some more yucca and some other abandoned bucket ponds there that have been added to our main projects. I've been incorporating my little 5-gallon buckets into our bigger ponds just to start off with a large amount of bacteria and algae and things that have been growing for years out here, you know. I love my little 5-gallon bucket ponds. That's my namesake for the channel, but they are limited. And here's Yin Yang. This is my buddy Yin Yang. He's always helping me out, always doing his part out here. And yeah, leave a comment if you like seeing Yin Yang on the channel. He's a pretty good helper, and I'd like to see what you guys think. Some more yucca. This plant will stab you. Be very, very careful. This plant is extremely sharp, it will poke you. It will stab right through the skin, and it's very interesting. As it turns out, green anoles love to hide in those leaves. I think it provides some form of safety for them. And yeah, guys, I like to do things on a budget here. I like to save money. I don't want to spend very much because, I have to work full time and I'm still broke. The economy is trash right now. But yeah, here's pool pond number two. And the total cost of this setup here was just the price of the pool. That's it. Everything else here was repurposed, found, recycled, and generally acquired for free. And I don't want to talk too much about this project, but I am working on trying to grow some cucumbers out here around the pond. I have a little trellis set up and some other elements. And again, we're just going to water everything. This pond is still settling, and it's going to look a little rough. That's why the video isn't out yet. I'm waiting for about a week or so after I set it up before I can put the build video on YouTube. But as you can see, we have some bog mat there in the middle of the pond, and I'm hoping to use that like a floating island right there. I'm sure we can get some wildlife that will take to that floating bog mat, which is mostly made out of pondweed, floating leaf pondweed, I believe, and some other elements. But yeah, I'm hoping to have like an Avatar style floating island that is completely natural. No actual floating pieces of styrofoam or anything like that. Now with the bog mat, I will have to struggle to keep it from spreading all over the pond. But yeah, that's my goal with that project. So over here around the other side of the property, we have a nice little bird bath, and I haven't shown you this before on the channel. But we have a little rose bush out here. We're hoping for some roses this year. And we have some water taro and some more of those amaryllis flowers planted out here. I believe that's how you say it, amaryllis. They form a really nice leafy bulb plant. And when the flowers bloom, they have red omnidirectional flowers. They face all four directions, and they're really nice. And they're very easy to spread. As it turns out, they just grow bulbs. It'll grow a large bulb, and then, it'll grow little baby buds off of that underground. And I just take those up every winter and spread them around a bit. We have a little frog statue here who probably needs to be repainted. But yeah, we've used some landscaping stones here to make a little round area around the bird bath. And my dad actually set up this really cool irrigation system of his own out here to refill the bird bath and to water these plants nearby. There we go. It's tied into the plumbing on the property, and it's just a shutoff valve. It's pretty cool, though. It's very effective. This provides clean water for the birds and other wildlife. The cats come out here sometimes, squirrels, tons of birds, all sorts of stuff, cardinals, and it's a lot of fun. But with just a little manual direction, you can use this to water the plants as well. And it's a pretty effective setup. Again, for very low cost. PVC pipe's pretty cheap. And for what it does, it's pretty impressive. I would like to incorporate a irrigation system like this around my ponds instead of the janky setup I have with the hidden water hose and whatnot. But we have time. There's always time. And maybe one day soon we'll build something more elaborate. But that's about it for now, guys. I hope that you could forgive me for the weird quality of the audio here. And again, I have to redub this, so I'm basically just standing here talking about nothing. But that's it for now, guys. I will see you again soon. This is the channel update for March of 2023. And I am looking at acquiring some new equipment. I'm also looking at getting some t-shirts made. If I can settle on a design, if you would like a Bucket Ponds t-shirt, please let me know. So thanks for watching, guys. Please like, subscribe, share, and I will see you again soon.